Hello and welcome everyone. So today we've got, well actually, my apologies. I'm 5-star General,
This is Raelcun.
and we're here with day 2 of our little round robin mini tournament. So we're just gathering everyone together at the moment. Fortunately, there are a couple of events going on right now apparently, so it's making it a little tough to get everyone organized on the same page here and in the same room. So we're gonna go ahead and work to get that together. May have to switch up the order of things possibly a little bit, but hopefully not. So, I'm going to go ahead and see if I send a couple more invites here, get them in here a little faster. If not, we've got a couple of other things, so don't go away. We won't leave you guys hanging.
Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I'm at the mercy of Mr. 5-star General here, so I'm hoping you can get that worked out.
Song and dance!
Smoothly.
Song and dance!
They can't see my dance, sir.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the dancing makes your song better.
Are you saying an artiste is supposed to get by without half of his performance? Is that what you're implying here?
I think that the other half comes through, even when it's invisible.
Right. Uh-oh. I don't want to be in the player spot. There we go.
Alrighty. Yeah, so I hope that we don't show up as 2 versus 1 again on the replays, at game replays. I don't know why that keeps occasionally happening either. I haven't found a correlation between like what exactly we do that causes it to happen. It just seems to happen.
What?
Like if you look at like when I go ahead and post these replays up on game replays, like occasionally it'll just since Retribution, there's a little bug in the system where it'll sometimes pick up observers as actual players, and so it'll put it like 2 versus 1, and it'll be like Edja versus Texanus and Tearing Up 16 or Raelcun or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, I don't remember playing that game.
Yeah. Pretty sure I haven't played any games against these guys. Yeah. Definitely not rated high enough to be going against them on the ladder. I've got a little bit of the same thing I have going in StarCraft 2, where I just don't ladder very often. Plus, I'm still kind of bad at actually playing this game. Oh, fun times.
Yeah, I mean, the dailies are really nice and stuff, but they also do kind of cut into our time for laddering, so that also. It's a valid excuse in my opinion. But, so we've got Edge in here, we're working on getting everyone else in here. C-Bud will be done in just a couple minutes apparently, so we're probably going to switch. The first game round was going to be, well, every time you see Jamus on the schedule, you're just going to have to sub in text. I realized I didn't do that for the events yet, so I'll go ahead and do that after this daily, so that Wednesdays will be right anyway. But anyway, we'll be just a little, I think just swap those 2 matches around today, because I think we'll have C-Bud in here first. It doesn't matter because Kelsey is going to be out, so kind of wondering if Kelsey foresaw this little roadblock in advance, and that's why he requested today off.
I don't know.
Because it was a little late, like I think it was like Sunday or something. He came, he's like, "Oh, by the way, I can't do do Tuesday." I'm like, "All right, if it's just one day, I can schedule around that." But anyway, so we're gonna just wait about 2 minutes. So keep the song and dance going. And apparently Steve Budd is still... I think he... Well, okay, we'll wait just a tiny bit more. We may be able to actually... Let me see if see what Jamus is doing. We may get that going first, actually, at this point. Of course, he's away.
Yeah. He said what game he was in that series, but he didn't mention what the score was or how it's doing, so it doesn't actually tell us a whole lot on time frame.
Yeah, so trying to figure that out. We also have a show match today between Jamus and McGamuSBunny, I believe. So we also have that to look at. And then we also have a replay. So one of these 3 things is going to be starting up very soon. We're just figuring out which of the three is going to go ahead first.
Yeah, so we're kind of got a wheel of good Dawn of War 2 players. Strong game ending in a 2 there. You know, just spins round and around who we end up playing each other. Nobody knows. It's basically at this point whoever is available next out of our list of players for a round robin tournament or the show match.
Okay, so apparently Steve Budd is playing Aki, and yeah, that's not going to finish soon. So we are going to try and get something else started out first, or let's see if Edge knows what Tech's doing.
I like the way he stated that. Well, that's going to take a while since Steve Budd is facing Aki, and that's going to take a while.
Alright, so at the moment, you know, I may as well just go ahead and do the replay right now rather than keep all of you guys waiting. We'll get this sorted out during the replay, so you'll probably occasionally see the Steam windows and stuff pop up while we're doing that, but we're just going to go ahead, get that casted for you guys, have fun with it, and we do, Raelcun, we have like an extra hour to go over today, right?
Like a half an hour.
Okay. We have like an extra half hour to go over today if we absolutely need it, so we'll try not to have to use it, but we may have to, so and or actually maybe, okay, well, we'll go ahead and do the replay really quickly. So let's back out of this, and let's just go tell Edge what we're doing, because he's been a good sport about that. He's been a really good sport about all this so far.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so gonna back out here and then go over to game history, which, as everyone knows, is where all of the great replays are stored. So as you guys can see, the one we've got here is actually on Ashes of Typhon. It's between HQ007 and Kryzon. So we're gonna go ahead and boot that up and stop it 5 seconds in, just like usual.
What about 4.9999?
That could be close enough, but we'd be about 0.00001 seconds desynced.
You think we can risk it?
Possibly. Although, it's not a risk I'm willing to take.
Well, I'm paused there anyway. Haha.
Almost loaded in. Alright, there we go.
But you started loading before me and I got to 5 before you?
No, I started loading after.
Oh, okay, I was like, what?
Yeah. Alrighty, so now I'm paused at 5, and we are good to go whenever.
Okay, me too.
Alright, so we're going to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So in the bottom right corner, we have HQ007. In the top corner, we've got Kryzon. This is the new Ashes of Typhon map. It was added just in Retribution here, so kind of new for players to get used to and whatnot. It's not something that's particularly standard or even necessarily liked a lot yet, but personally I like it a fair bit. It's just me.
Yeah, you scared me for a little second there because you said this is the new Ashes of Typhon. I was like, wait, what did they change?
Yeah, no, it's,
I'm looking all around to see what's different. I'm like, I don't see anything. What are you talking about? And I was like, oh, you meant just for the game. Okay.
Yeah, it's not brand new, but it is just a bit new. So, but anyway, so we see that HQ007 is spawned in here as I mentioned, Chaos Lord. A little bit of a slow, big lumbering hero for this map, but he's got his Heretic's Worship actually increases his unit speed, and we saw him use that at the beginning of the game, right out of spawn, to give him that little bit of speed boost to get the Chaos Lord moving, and that's going to allow him to traverse this map a little bit better. So we're going to see really good usage of that. And, of course, against such a mobile hero as the War Spider Exarch, which we've seen, I don't even know how many times by this point. We already see the big harass going down here in these Heretics. We're going to take one loss, get that requisition point capped, and get out of there. One loss of a Heretic squad, about 16 requisition now. So
Yeah.
easily worth it for that requisition node. That'll pay for itself.
It's more than it used to be, but still, I mean, for an early requisition point, whatever. You know, that early warship that you saw HQ007 do is basically what every Chaos Lord player on the planet does or should be doing at the start of the game. If you want tips on how to continually get that speed boost used very efficiently throughout the game, just find some Kael'thas replays. He's amazing at it.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of the best people I've seen at consistently using that warship to increase the speed of his Chaos Lord throughout the game. He does a lot of really cool things with that, so...
Yeah, Kael'thas is definitely a really good Chaos Lord player, so always a great idea to start with some of the better players to go ahead and look at what, areas where you can improve, really. So we see that, actually the Doom Blast does get off there, so nice timing. It looked like, actually, that the Warp Spider had escaped that Doom Blast with just the right time, but no. We saw HQW7 getting in just before the teleport, so very nice job there, too. It's kind of one of those things. It looks like a little simpler to time and everything it actually is. Now, these Guardians are down to 2 models, 1 model, but the Chaos Lord is sync killing, so he's not going to be able to catch up.
I thought he had that Guardian squad, just would have taken pretty much one more swing there. And, we haven't really discussed this yet. We have a triple Guardian opening from Cryzon and a really quick Havoc squad from HQ007, so things are looking pretty good for HQ so far in this match.
Yeah, we do see that Shuriken is out as well, and even though the Chaos Lord is suppression immune, which means that he can walk through suppression without being suppressed, he can't really just walk up to the Shuriken here. We look at his cone of fire. The closer that he gets to the source of that cone of fire, the more damage that he takes. Therefore, he can't really he can't just walk up to it when it's supported by other Guardians and whatnot. So I'm assuming the 3 Guardian opening here from Cryzon, number 1, he was probably expecting a Chaos Lord, and number 2, having expected a Chaos Lord. This does give him a lot of ranged firepower, especially with his Warp Spider XR, to force off that Chaos Lord. But now we do see the CSMs here are in a bit of a pickle, and now these Heretics are going to have to be really, really careful because there's 3 Guardians all with grenades. They've got to somehow retreat without getting grenaded, and actually... Not the best grenade spikes
the first
I've seen,
one was alright. The next 2 were just a complete miss. That could be just a symptom of this map being newer. Players not being completely familiar with the retreat paths on this map. It seemed like he didn't think that the Heretics could actually run down below that piece of terrain, and then they did anyways, so those next 2 grenades missed. So, yeah, again, it looks like that was just a symptom of the new map. He's still trying to shoot that squad. He didn't quite get it, but there was something else I wanted to say, and I completely forgot what it was, so...
we could talk about the Noise Marines in the middle here. They're in a great spot here to bash this middle node, which really, middle node, not something you're going to hold very much on this map. Little surprised that the Noise Marines are actually decapping this. This would not be my recommendation to go ahead and decap that with the Noise Marines. I would much prefer to have seen these Noise Marines immediately push up to the gen farm and start pressuring that, especially with a 3 Guardian build against you, right? Because 3 Guardians against Noise Marines are not, only with their range are they going to do anything. So he certainly had a chance here, but, he's going to hold back. He gets the decap off. He now has his Havoc to support. He's got his CSMs to push up on the left side. He's got a well-supported force by this point, so, I mean, you can't blame him for waiting. At the same time, the HQ007, actually could have gone Tier 2 already, as we see. His macro timing is very late at this point.
There it goes. Where does he say that? So,
yeah, there we go.
One of the things about this map is, you look at HQ007, he was sort of holding down the center there.
Grenade! And they eat it. But they don't lose any models, but they do lose quite a bit of health. That could be significant against the Shuriken platform.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like he's going to be able to get in there and get the blast off on the Shuri, but the platform does back off because of the fact that the Chaos Lord was sort of flanking around. He does have to stop and change his position. Noise Marines going in first. If those get suppressed, yeah, there we go. I mean, just send in the CSM first, maybe get those into range to get your shot off on the platform. Because the range of the Noise Marines is actually pretty long.
Yeah, so we should probably mention that for anyone who doesn't know, the function of Noise Marines, what they do with their attack is they have a sort of flamer style attack, and when they hit something, they disable any ranged weapons that are active on what they hit. Oh my gosh, grenades!
Completely
Oh,
wiping
over the Havoc!
Havocs.
And that Havoc is gone, so we saw that those Guardians were just kind of pushing up there with support from that Shuriken weapons from the platform, and it seemed like a really odd battle because there was just, you know, Guardians dropping to this Havoc, and it was like, okay, why are you pushing up these Guardians on this Havoc? Because you're just bleeding 30 requisition per Guardian, and we quickly saw there that Kryzon was like, well, you know, that's perfectly fine with me because we've got some phase shift coming in already. And here's a grenade. We're going to see the Warp Spider retreat out, and there goes the Heretic Squad. So we're going to see things get a little cheesy now. But,
yeah, and that was just exactly what I was talking about with the Noise Marines. He just used the Guardians to take the suppression fire so that his platform could suppress the Havocs. Then suddenly they're not shooting anymore, and then, hey, double grenades, Havocs have a D setup time, so they've got absolutely no way to dodge that. And, well, there's a free Havoc kill, so good job by him, and then he follows it up with a free, well, pretty much Heretic Squad, so
yeah,
H007's kind of like, hey, what's going on here?
Not much you can do about that, yeah. I mean, possibly had he had Aspiring Champion, maybe would have been able to tank that grenade blast, but now we do see that a Falcon is coming out for Kryzon, and we've got dual Zeech Chaos Space Marines for HQ007, so we've got fairly different force compositions here. The Zeech Space Marines will be able to do a little bit of damage to that Falcon. They are not hard AV though, but the Shuriken is walking within range of these Noise Marines, as we were saying before. What the Noise Marines do is they disable all ranged weapons and anything they affect. And so we see right there, they go ahead, disable that Shuriken. As long as that Shuriken's in range of the Noise Marines there, they will be able to keep it. And now we see their other ability, Cacophony, is going down. But really not going to be able to do much there. We'll keep everything away from the Zeech Marines for a little bit. But they get caught in phase shift now on retreat. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is why phase shift is really, really disliked, for among a lot of other reasons, is that it just affects everything, and there just isn't a great way to avoid it. Even if you retreat before it's cast, it can still pick you up here. And so now we see that he actually, in trying to go and save them, lost a couple of Chaos Space Marines too, which probably was a little unnecessary, but nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, phase shift, I feel like it would be better if it wasn't immediately canceled when you retreat. Like, if you had to try for those sorts of, you know, things like phase shift into a grenade or phase shift into a Eldritch Storm, if you had to sit there and try and count out the timing, it would be a lot harder to do. But since you can just throw a grenade on top of the squad, hey, it's at 0.1 seconds, hit that retreat button, and they're dead. There's not really much your opponent can do in those situations, except trying not to get phase shifted, which, good luck. He's going to get something.
Oh, it's impossible when he's only targeting one squad is the issue. It's very much so a no-skill ability at the moment that really does need to be fixed, despite what Tasker has said. Unfortunately, it's just one of those abilities at the moment that, you know, the Warp Spider Exarch isn't inherently a terrible hero or anything. As far as, like, you know, it's not like players playing the Warp Spider, not all players playing the Warp Spider Exarch are doing it to just abuse phase shift. But he's actually seen plenty of games without any phase shift used, and that's actually because a lot of Warp Spider Exarch players go to great lengths not to use phase shift because they feel it is overpowered. But it just casts a huge unnecessary pall on the entirety of a commander's and racist hero just for no real reason, unfortunately. Now we do see a Chaos Dreadnought coming out. The nice thing about that here is, well, we'll be phase shifted. Getting grenades to actually kill this is tough. And we see the Audar call in here. This is going to be a lot of dead stuff here.
Oh my god.
And we see actually everything makes it out alive somehow. But nope, the Noise Marine goes down. It had survived the initial call-ins.
Okay, so do we get to see a hug bot? Do we get to see a hug bot?
We have the hug bot, I think.
Oh,
nope, not quite.
I don't think he upgraded it yet.
He hasn't upgraded the hug bot yet, actually. He may.
Oh, he's gonna get the Falcon without having to upgrade hug bot.
Come on, the Falcon, it's down. So getting a little bit of revenge here, and actually we had seen, I thought Kryzon was going tier 3, but maybe he canceled here in favor of this Brave Lord. So he's working on a Wraith Lord to come out. Now, I think at that point we'll definitely see a Hugbot. That would be prime time for a Hugbot. Walker versus Walker action. Oh, yeah.
Hugbot's definitely one of my favorite things in Dawn of War 2. If you're not familiar, when you upgrade the Dreadnought with... Okay, I have to guess.
It's Corn.
Corn? Yeah, there we go. The Mark of Corn, it gets a really nice melee ability. It gets some claws. And its attack animation is like it walks up and gives you a big hug. So Tasker's the one who introduced me to that particular phrase and made me die laughing a couple times. Back in Chaos Rising when I was casting with Lokars, he kept referring to the Hugbot coming up for hugs on targets. So the animation's quite funny, and hopefully you'll get to see it because it makes me giggle.
We don't see any upgrades going on it quite yet. We are seeing Plague Marines coming out here. In the meantime, we also see Armor of the Inferno out on this Chaos Lord. He's going to go ahead and put it to use. Let the Galaxy burn coming in on these Guardians. Getting some revenge, finally, for all those phase shifts with another ability that's quite powerful, but you know what? It costs a hell of a lot more. So, and actually, we're going to see Combi Flamer come in as well now. So a little interesting here. It looks like the Chaos Lord may just be swapping over to a somewhat range-based solution here. Looking to just go ahead and plop down, let the Galaxy burn, and then be able to fire from range with that Combi Flamer. He maybe even immolate here to possibly put some distance between the Guardians and his army. I'm not quite sure how he intends to do that completely, but just as area denial could be useful.
If you think about it, you know, he's trying to think of how to deal with phase shift. How can I do that? I can use the Armor of Inferno. It knocks them back. It says if you walk through this area, you're going to lose your squad.
And here comes another phase shift.
Oh, God. And in order to do that, you do, of course, have to keep the Chaos Lord away from your army. So it's not quite going to work this time. There goes the grenades. Oh, missed time.
Terrible timing there, yeah. And so I guess phase shift does take some modicum of skill there. We saw it didn't work out that time.
Yeah, you do have to have your Guardians close enough to throw your grenades before it expires, is the main issue. So this Wraith Lord's actually taking quite a beating right now from...
The Wraith Lord is successfully holding up these Plague Marines in melee, although finally, actually, it has kind of moved away from them for some reason and is now targeting the node. This seems to be another... Oh no, is it trying to back off? I'm not quite sure what it's doing here.
He's trying to get away, but okay, I mean, he has the Plague Marines. Oh, Warp Spider X-Star getting in onto melee on the Plague Marines to keep them from shooting it. He does lose the Warp Spider X-Star, but that might be enough to get the Wraith Lord out.
And the Wraith Lord certainly costs quite a bit more than a Warp Spider X-Star does to replace him. We've got another Wraith Lord coming out. So definitely, he really does need to maintain that. We do see that HQ 007 has a fairly sizable build-up of resources here. He's going to build another Plague Marine. At this point, with the amount of phase shift going on and just with the general force composition from Kryzon, why do anything else? Because Plague Marines aren't really going to die to most things that phase shift brings in because they have too much health. And at the same time, they're going to be ideal for helping to deal with these Wraith Lords, along with, well, hopefully a Hugbot at some point.
Yeah, he's nowhere near enough red to do the phase shift into Eldritch Storm. Hasn't quite gotten enough model kills for that, so he doesn't have to worry about that just yet. But if this game goes super long, you can see that Kryzon's been doing that quite consistently throughout the game, so it's going to be something he's going to have to worry about in the later stages of the game, make sure he doesn't blob up too much, or else, you know, of course, phase shift, Eldritch Storm, that hurts a hell of a lot more than the phase shift into grenades, just a bit.
Yeah, we are seeing that at least it will take Kryzon about another 285 red to get there, so that is some positive aspect in all this right now for HQ 007. And here it comes in, another phase shift. We had one, I think, bolt of Let the Galaxy Burn managed to get out. Now here's triple grenades coming in. We do see actually Malignant Blindness going down. And by the way, these CSMs now, I believe, all have, yes, they have Aspiring Champions on them. And still, they're taking this much damage from the grenades and phase shift combination.
One of those is at 17 health. Oh, barely gonna get away. He actually accidentally phase shifted his own Wraith Lord in that last go through.
Oh, these Plague Marines might not get out, although probably the healing there from losing one of their own should allow them to get out.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. He will be able to lose these Plague Marines turning around, going to take a free shot at these Wraith Lords, since he did actually go ahead and back off if he can get another missile. But of course, you know, they're having a bit of an issue with their accuracy at the moment, not quite hitting their targets when he really wants them to. This Chaos Dreadnought is refusing to upgrade, even though this would be a pretty good situation for a Hugbot against the double Wraith Lord.
Well, I think the thing that may be holding him back is that he does have a pretty nice mix of range damage right now and of melee damage with the default configuration. And against the Guardians and just kind of the general range threat that he's facing is on top of the Wraith Lord threat, especially now that we have Warp Spiders out. He may not want to get too close in here. He really can't afford to lose it.
Yeah.
Look, given what he's doing, we see Let the Galaxy Burn go down. That doesn't really catch much of anything there. We're rolling against.
Yeah, no. That was a Guardian Warp Spider.
Now the Warp Spiders are going to get haywire off on the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought's trying to get away. The Autarch's focusing. The Warp Spider X-Arc goes ahead and phase shifts. The Dreadnought is all alone. He's trying to run away. He's still haywired. We see grenades going in on the phase shift. We go ahead and see the phase shift breaks. Actually, I think that one was timed. I don't think the Warp Spider X-Arc retreated. Oh no, he did retreat. Never mind. My bad. Still no skill. And we still see the Dreadnought trying to get away, These Plague Rings trying to save the Dreadnought. Dreadnought is moving closer to base. There are no Heretics to repair this Dreadnought, though. It's getting close. And it goes down. But the Autarch is also in danger. The Autarch's trying to get out. The Autarch may be able to get by. There's no force melee. Maybe the Chaos Lord can catch her. The Chaos Lord managed to catch her. The Autarch can kill her. And now these two Wraith Lords are in a bad position.
Uh-oh. There's Plague Marines everywhere. There's a Chaos Lord right there. One of the Plague Marines just retreated, but they don't have very far to go.
Yeah, this is
so
really
they can somehow take a shot at that low level from Wraith Lord, and then have the Chaos Lord from behind, you know, maybe go after that.
We see one of these Wraith Lords is going to go down. There's no way to get away from that snare. It goes down, but that still leaves one Wraith Lord on the field. And we see that HQ007 does not have his Chaos Dreadnought anymore. But in the meantime, he was able to use some Chaos Space Rings, go ahead and grab some victory points. And he only has 168 left, so that is very valuable to him. So the battle maybe, I don't know if say turn out in his favor, but he certainly managed to make it not a catastrophe.
Yeah, and if you look at it, you know, Kryzov delayed his tier 3 by a whole bunch. He got the second Wraith Lord, he got a Warp Spider squad with the aspect of the Warp Spider in order to get that.
And we see Fascia coming in up in the top left against these Chaos Space Marines. We've got Guardians moving in with one grenade. Guardians moving in with not just one grenade, but again, that one grenade takes out 3 models. The Aspiring Champion's trying to run away. He can't get away. That squad had an Aspiring Champion on it, took one grenade, got completely wiped by phase shift. I simply don't understand how the single squad sniping is acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, he actually timed that pretty well with his Wraith Lord as well. Like, the Wraith Lord walked in, took a pretty big hit with his sword, and the grenade went off at the same time. Plus, a little bit of shootiness going in on the squad as well. So, that was a lot of damage output going in. You know, a lot of it from the grenade, yes, but there were some other outside sources, but it's a little bit ridiculous. I mean, because if you look at it, he's been doing basically nothing but teleporting in and phase shifting, and he's not even close to low on energy.
Yeah.
Like, you'd think that he'd be running his energy out at this point, but he's at 110 right now.
Yeah, he's got 130 total, and he's been able to regen that no problem. By the way, Locker, my bad, not Locker, Raelcun, your mic is coming in kind of like robotic-y, kind of weird at the moment. I'm not really sure what's up with that.
It's Skype, I don't know.
Do we have to like recall each other or something? I mean, you sound pretty cool like this, but
I don't know. I can check, but I think you probably just have to call me back.
alrighty. We can go ahead and try this. So in the meantime, we have a Shuriken coming in here. Oh, these Plague Marines getting hit really hard by that Shuriken because they're just very close. We see phase shift coming down again. You see an Autarch call down coming in. Lose the Autarch, use phase shift and call the Autarch back in. Why not do that? You know, I mean, go ahead. We see a Plague Marine very low here. The only reason they're still alive is because of the healing on death. That these Chaos Space Marines really might want to get out of here because, you know, phase shift could come at any moment. They see they are getting out. They are retreating. they're probably going to take at least one loss. And in fact, they do take a loss. In fact, they take two significant losses. The first loss was the aspiring champion there. And so that's just that's big hurt right there. So the HQ007 did get to Tier 3. He is in Tier 3 right now. What he's going to do in Tier 3 remains to be seen. I could probably see a Chaos Predator of some kind coming in here.
Yeah, you can't really go for many infantry-based solutions, given on what your opponent has been doing so far in this game.
Yeah, it's basically there's only vehicles. That's the only tactical option.
He has to go for something vehicle-based. He does have a large amount of resources.
I mean, you see another Dreadnought is coming down, so I'm kind of wondering what Tier 3 is about. Although, actually, you know what? I don't think I'm wondering about what Tier 3 is about anymore, because I'm kind of looking at it, and just looking at the resources, HQ007 has over 500 red, aka global resource. I think what he's looking to do here is get a nuke down, which would be sweet retribution for him.
Oh, yeah. Too bad he can't phase shift first, like...
Well, he can let the galaxy burn, so he can do
Yeah.
a little bit, but he can't really catch anything on retreat, unfortunately, for him. And now we see these, this could be another squad going down here. They haven't quite finished upgrade. Oh, they actually, I've never actually seen that happen, so.
Finished upgrading while they were phase shifted.
And here we go, here comes the global nuke popping down, and the real abyss coming down on the entire Eldar army. We do see a little bit of nice micro by this Audarch here, going ahead and jumping on the Warp Spiders to give them a little health boost, but she sacrifices herself in doing so. Oh man, that was a huge blow. The Warp Spider Exarch managed to get out of that just due to his little, jumpy nature and such, but quite a bit of nice payback by HQ007 here. This is going to allow him to go ahead and retake a lot of map control. And ladies and gentlemen, this was the reason why he went Tier 3. You can see the big difference this has made, and basically, if you think about it, this is what the Warp Spider Exarch has been doing the entire game, just in little tidbits, not nearly to the same degree here. So in the meantime here, we've got a lot of ranged firepower coming in on these Plague Marines here from these Warp Spiders and the Guardians. The Plague Marines thus far are managing to do alright, but they are getting meleeed now by the Warp Spider Exarch. One squad is going to have to back out, the other squad's going to have to back out.
Is that global again?
Oh, the one that just went down? It is the, I believe, 275 red global Berserk. Something like that. Basically allows. Yeah, basically, I believe with every melee hit, Chaos units do. Actually, even if you use this in 2v2, 3v3 as well, your allies actually get the benefit of this. Oh, by the way, we see a Hogbot!
Yeah!
But anyway, so I believe the global gives like plus 2% damage for every successful hit in melee for a short period of time, so it is very effective at what it does. Now the issue here is we have this Hogbot out, we've got dual Warp Spiders, so we're going to have like dual Haywires coming down really quickly here. And remember, Haywire...
Take out this Wraith Lord though.
Now, unfortunately you can't with Haywire because you can't attack with Haywire, it actually disables the weapons. We should see a Let the Galaxy Burn coming down though maybe. Yes we are! It's going to go down, it's going to hit, it's going to buy this Chaos Dreadnought some time to go ahead and deal with this Wraith Lord. We do see that the Guardians are repairing though. Immolate is going down! To try and get these Guardians out there, it does force the Guardians off, and so we see some great combos, some great micro here by HQ007, actually going up to dual Warp Spiders and just saying, screw you, turning around and just
hit it with the sword.
And phase shift is going to prevent this Chaos Dreadnought from going ahead and finish out this Wraith Lord. Unfortunately, the Chaos Lord's sword wouldn't do too much against the Wraith Lord, so it will get away with about 146 health. But then again, the Chaos Dreadnought here is going to manage to survive himself. And we have seen that, again, map control is shifting back in HQ007's favor, and he's got a Havoc out again, which is somewhat interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting, he seems to have gone to Tier 3 just for that global, just to completely annihilate almost all of the Guardians. And, the issue with that is, now the phase shift isn't quite as annoying. There's not quite 500 red for Cryzon, so still don't worry about the phase shift and Eldritch Storm, but that's gotta be in the top of his head, He probably wants a little bit of revenge. Does he have enough red for that? But as we can see,
he's only got 121.
The victory points down there trying to
prevent. We do see another Guardian squad going down.
Wow, we got the last Guardian squad as they were trying to take that left victory point. He was trying to stop the countdown. Wraith Lord now completely unable to be repaired
And
is charging right into the Plague Marines.
At this point, this is a suicide charge from Cryzon. We are seeing these Plague Marines getting away from the Autarch call, and the Autarch's going to be the last possible chance here to stop this victory pointer countdown. But we see that, oh, these Plague Marines actually aren't copying the bottom victory point. There's that bug again. They are probably been told to cap. They are not capturing. It doesn't seem like it's going to matter at this point. Although the Warspider Exarch may be able to get this capture off. He does indeed get the decapture off. This is stuck at 4 seconds. The Autarch goes down. We do have Blood Sacrifice coming down. The Bloodletter's coming out. And that is actually just going to be GG. Because Cryzon only has one Warp Spider squad left. Along with his Warp Spider Exarch. So, we see HQ 007 prevailing despite phase shift. I would not take this, though, as that... as anything that, like, any kind of justification of phase shift, personally.
Yeah, I mean, you mean phase shift with a really good, global nuke from the chaos side. I mean, 500 red, it can be kind of tough to get up to in most games. Like, you don't get many opportunities to really throw that down. Cryzon was kind of overconfident and blobbed up pretty hard at that point. Like, he shouldn't have even really taken as much damage as he did, but his entire army was within the radius of the global, so it just did ridiculous amounts of damage. He thought he was winning by a large margin and wasn't concerned about it.
Yeah, he was managing to snipe squads left and right, but, you know, I feel like, kind of, as I was watching that, and it's, again, kind of goes back to one of those things where we kind of have that issue with phase shift, and the issue kind of goes beyond phase shift itself and into the whole, like, it's very tough to respect players that use it, whether it's balanced or otherwise, simply because of the issues that it causes and brings up. It seemed like basically throughout this game, despite all the squads that Cryzon was sniping, at every other point in the game, HQ 007 was basically outplaying Cryzon.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where if the skill cap was a little bit tougher on it, it'd be alright. Like, if you couldn't just immediately drop phase shift by retreating your Warp Spider Exarch, it would make it a lot tougher to use. You'd have to use it more tactically. You'd have to time it out. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, actually, it technically needs more than that, because even, eventually people will just get the timing down and still abuse it, I think. But at least if it make it a little tougher, require more micro, and, but still, at the highest levels of it, I'd assume it would be an issue still.
Yeah.
But, nonetheless, I think this is a pretty good illustration of some of the issues, when people complain about phase shift, and, this is why the complaints exist.
I feel like HQ was setting himself up to try and counter the phase shifts, and then he kept getting his Chaos Lord caught in the phase shift. Like,
yeah, that was the
if
one
he had
thing.
made a concerted effort to keep his Chaos Lord a little bit separate from the rest of his army, he probably could have used the Let the World Burn, the knockback involved, and just the giant flames keeping the Guardians away, to basically just deny the grenades after the phase shift. And I thought that's what he was going for. But he consistently kept his Chaos Lord right next to his army, so it kept getting phase shifted as well. So I was all ready to, say, hey, that's a really good response. It's really tough to deal with phase shift. So you can use this big, ability that the Chaos Lord has, even though it's super expensive, to try and minimize the damage. But he just didn't quite micro that right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. As well as HQ played. That was one area where he seemed to have a plan, and it seemed to just not quite work out because of his execution. But yeah, I mean, so overall though, HQ still managed to prevail. So we're gonna go ahead now and try and get. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on here with everyone else and the rest of the wide world of Dawn of War 2 gaming.
Yeah. Do we have players now?
We have at least the showmatch players ready, so we're going to be able to do that. Trying to still get text in our main chat. So I'm going to go ahead and host up our showmatch. So for those of you guys unaware of what happened yesterday, Monday, what happened was we had originally planned for JamusMcgamuS to be in the position that Texanius is right now for the tournament. Unfortunately, JamusMcgamuS got, I'm not sure if he doesn't have daylight savings time where he is or whatnot. Nonetheless, he was on our show Friday, and basically the times between the shows on Friday and on Monday were an hour different, in the wrong direction, of course. So we weren't quite able to do that the way that we wanted to with him, and so to kind of make amends for that, we're going to go ahead now and have a show match between himself, and we let him basically pick whoever anyone that he felt he'd be able to have a competitive show match with, and he's found MeteorVsBunny to go ahead and take up the task. So I'm going to go ahead and invite everyone in here. I don't think I have MeteorVsBunny added yet, but I will get him added. Raelcun, I've sent you the invite to the group chat that we've got going. And I'm inviting everyone to the game right now, so we're going to get this going, and then we will get to our tournament, because hopefully the other event that is screwing with everything right now, that's out of our control, unfortunately, will be dealt with by then.
Yeah, so we'll move down here. No, I don't want to be a player. Not quite good enough to be stepping up into that slot, so we'll leave that to the other two people who are coming in here. And what map do you think we'll see? Greentooth Gorge? Seawall Frontier?
I'm really not sure. I haven't. I think I'm actually gonna give MeteorVsBunny a choice of what the map is. See what he goes for. Let me go ahead and make you referee. So while we're waiting for them, there's got to be something to talk about around here. So how's the weather in Internet Land?
What?
I'm trying to make conversation here and it's not working, Raelcun. You've got to support me here.
It's been wet over here in Ohio a lot.
Oh, okay.
That's about the most I can give you. I got distracted quite a lot before this show because I live right next to High Street, which is our big main thoroughfare, and somebody was going about 70 miles per hour in the 35 zone and hit somebody while they were pulling a left turn, knocked them clear across the 5-lane road and onto the lawn of the fire station. So it was just a little bit of a commotion going on around here.
That sounds quite brutal, man.
They're extremely lucky that it was right in front of the fire station because, in under a minute, all the firefighters were out there with their tools, and they had the ambulance right there, and they immediately got the woman onto a stretcher and got her off to a hospital. But it was quite an impressive sight. Oh my god. And I was a little bit afraid to go outside my house because, then of course it's 5:30, middle of rush hour, and everybody's shooting down our side street to go around the street that's completely shut off.
That's right. Well, not too much going around here at UCF. Well, maybe there is, but I haven't really been outside since 9 a.m., so...
Yeah, that was about our excitement for the week. Hopefully we don't see any more of that for quite a long time.
Yeah, you really don't like to see accidents. I don't think anyone does. Hopefully the person in there, as you mentioned, was okay. They're right by the fire station, so...
Mm-hmm. Definitely a quick response. Here we go, Seawall.
So the completely unexpected map choice of the day is Seawall Frontier, but we are going to get to see Inquisitor against Warp Spider Exarch. Now, if we could ever get the Warp Spider Exarch portion out of this and get something else in there, that'd be awesome, but it seems like it's going to be quite a bit until that happens.
But the funny thing is, when I started in Chaos Rising, and I started playing Warp Spider Exarch, it was partially because I didn't see many people using him very often, and I liked how micro-oriented he was. And now it's just Warp Spider Exarchs everywhere. At the beginning of Retribution, it was count the Warlocks with, Choco as a Warp Spider Exarch, but now everybody's figured out, oh my god, this hero is pretty good. We're seeing him left and right.
Well, he had been, he's always been really popular, I think. I think we kind of saw a resurgence of the Warlock in the beginning of Retribution, just because the Autarch, I feel like, just kind of comes in and fills a couple of gaps and stuff that, I don't know if it's whatever, it just really complements the Warlock pretty well. just not as cheesily as Phase Shift and Auto Call-In.
Yeah, so I mean, right when it was released, everybody's like Warlock, 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 Warlock. Then everybody's like, okay, we're back to the Warp Spider. So we see some more Warp Spider Exarch from Mr. MeteorVsBunny.
Or no, actually, MeteorVsBunny is Inquisitor.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got JamusMcgamuS, who is our Friday King of the Hill champion, by the way, is going to be Warp Spider Exarch. So the Inquisitor, we should actually probably take a couple seconds here to talk about her. She is, quote, the offensive commander for Imperial Guard. I don't really believe that.
Well, I mean, she's like I've got a lot of AoE counter to very big blob commander, I believe.
She,
because I know Lokar in particular really hates facing the Inquisitor because he feels that it just generally does very nasty things to the Nids with all the AoE she has available.
Well, like Holy Pyre is definitely one of those things it does. She also has like Stabilizers and stuff. So we go ahead here and see the Sentinel and Guardsman here. It's 1 Sentinel, 2 Guardsman opening. Warp Spider can still teleport while stunned, by the way. Just a little annoying there.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I've never seen a Warp Spider do that before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, granted, you don't really see the Sentinel go after the Warp Spider with his stomp.
Yeah, and actually, I'd probably have to say that was a good job there by JamusMcgamuS baiting that stomp. Because stomp does have a cooldown. That basically is what limits its effectiveness, is that cooldown. So we go ahead and see him wasting that stomp on the Warp Spider Exarch early on there. It kind of prevents MeteorVsBunny from really doing too much with anything else. So in the meantime, I think Steve Budd says that he has lost in whatever he was playing. So we should probably see him over here immediately after this. So that'll be good. Not so good that he lost, but you know.
Yeah, and we see again Warp Spider in a building. Just like on Green Tooth Gorge, can be quite annoying. He's making good use of this guard tower over here. And every time anything comes near him, he just jumps straight into it. You know, he can teleport right to the door. He's in that immediately. And the Warp Spider actually does pretty good damage against the Sentinel. People get confused by the armor type of the Sentinel. It says vehicle. He doesn't have vehicle armor. It's like heavy infantry.
Yeah.
So the Warp Spider can actually do some pretty good shooting damage against it. As well as if you've got a good melee blob on top of it, you can get the Warp Spider in there just to whack it a couple times with his power blades if it's low health and trying to get away. So it says vehicle, it's a lie. It's a fake vehicle.
So we are going to see a stomp coming down here maybe, but he's got to watch out. This Ranger is going to be able to really challenge this Sentinel here. Rangers pretty effective against Sentinels because they've got that very high burst damage. They can often get to places to just really, really annoy Sentinels and pick them off and all sorts of nasty things.
Yeah, again, that comes down to the heavy infantry armor. These Rangers do quite a bit of damage. And if he can get a shot off here, he might kill it. He's being double repaired. Oh! So he does get the second repair on there just in time to get enough health onto that Sentinel. And look at how he's backing it up, making it tough for the Rangers to get close enough to shoot.
And now we've got Catachans coming out maybe at just the right time, although they are going to lose a model immediately to the Rangers there. And then they're going to pop Oh Reliable. Again, we see like a lot of players complain about Oh Reliable, but right there, like the Oh Reliable doesn't do very much damage to the Rangers. They're getting forced off anyway. It's kind of a situation where the range actually probably I'm kind of surprised that MeteorVsBunny used it there. Yeah. I wouldn't really probably recommend that. You know, it's just kind of like, again, now you've got to wait for the cooldown and the energy and all that.
The cooldown's more of an issue in this instance, as it doesn't really take a lot of energy. He hasn't upgraded anything else.
There's a stomp there in the middle of nowhere. It seems to have been a misclick, possibly.
Yeah, that had to have been a misclick. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to get off a shotgun blast with the Devils, and he had the wrong thing selected. I got no idea.
Yeah, it's so tough to figure out why misclicks happen. They just happen. We are seeing Demolition Man go down, though. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's just getting this for the boosted stats, or if he's actually going to go ahead and use the abilities. First, I feel like both abilities are really good, so that's always nice to have both of them. And now we are seeing the more generators go down here for MeteorVsBunny. He still only has 2, though.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of decapping with this Sentinel. Of course, for people who are not familiar, it can decap but not recapture points. So one of the things that players really like to use it for is just walk around and...
Oh, he's got to watch out for the
decap
Sentinel, though.
position.
He's under attack by the
no.
Shuriken, and the
It's
War Spider
dead.
goes down.
Yeah, there was really no way he was getting out of there. He had the War Spider X-Arc on one side, the Sentinel, the Shuriken on the other, and the Shuri platform again.
And the Rangers
its armor
were...
type just beats the hell up. Rangers were coming in to take a shot at it.
Oh, but now the Shuriken, though, is trapped on the wrong side of these Catachans. These Catachans are kind of low, so they are going to back out, but if those Catachans were able to stick around, there was no way that Shuriken was really going to be able to retreat well. And now the Inquisitor here is kind of trapped on the wrong side of the Shuriken. So she's going to get out all right, but again, probably not where she wanted to be. So with all this, we see Jamus is pulling a huge amount of requisition here, and part of this actually kind of goes back to the MeteorVsBunny's doing a pretty good job of decapping with its Sentinel. Unfortunately, he's lost that now, but also just kind of keeping map control. We've constantly seen Guardsman squads in the bottom area here, even though this requisition node down here is fully matured in the favor of Jamus. We've just seen enough squads down there to kind of challenge the victory point, challenge this power node. We can't really fault Jamus at this point for having built up like 500 plus requisition before going tier 2, because he's just waiting on power.
He really hasn't also been taking too many losses compared to his opponent. Like, just a couple Guardians here and there, and not even really that many.
Yeah.
He's been doing a good job of winning the war of attrition. So since his power keeps getting decapped in the center, and he hasn't really been taking many losses, that just generally tends to result in a lot of requisition. One of the things people really like to nitpick on is don't float requisition, it's not helping you at all, but in this instance, there's not much you can throw it into except for maybe Banshees or, another Guardian squad.
Yeah, basically, he doesn't feel there's anything in Tier 1 that's going to help him, so he feels like there are going to be things in Tier 2 that will. Actually, for anyone that's read Harry Russ's guide on playing Eldar against Imperial Guard on game replays, basically, what he has said in that guide is that Eldar Tier 2 is where you win this game. In the meantime, though, we do see that these Flamer Guardsmen are going ahead. They got a bash down on the node. They're not quite able to get anything out of the generators yet, though.
It's interesting that he went after the node. He's actually going to be able to force these Guardians out of here in combination
Very
with,
nice, so reliable barrage there.
Yeah, the barrage from the Catachans, and now he should be able to go after the generators, but he's going after the node again.
I think he wants to possibly decapture the node, maybe even capture it for himself.
I'm not sure if he can get away with stealing the gen at this point.
He may just want to steal it for a couple seconds. That is somewhat limitedly effective. We do see
don't lose the Catachans. Some
interesting micro there from the War Spider X-Arc there to try and get those guardsmen. And we see a little attempt at the grenade there, but what I saw about the War Spider X-Arc there was instead of going after the easiest targets, the Catachans, right, he was actually dancing around the Catachans and just kind of taking pot shots at the guardsmen because they were so low. Had he not been doing that, the guardsmen would have been able to successfully decap. Now, meantime, they're seeing the Rangers decapturing MeteorVsBunny's main natural requisition node here. And we're also seeing
I was going after the gen squad as well, the gen farm over here with the double warlock
Guardians,
so actually, he's going to actually do a good amount of damage, especially if he throws out an Embolden to really try and take down another generator.
Yeah, not to mention here, these are in the retreat path of these guardsmen that were up here capturing that requisition node. So that's also significant, just kind of the positioning there. Grenade goes down, takes out quite a few. It takes at least 3 guardsmen. Now we're going to see Fleet of Foot to allow these Guardians to get out of here. Fleet of Foot into the retreat there. This should allow them to get out without taking any losses whatsoever. Just a great job there of leveraging that ability.
Not a single model lost from both those Guardians, doing a good amount of damage. And setting up possibly another generator to go down later in the game as it's pretty low. So you can see that, Meteor needs to make something happen. He's got a Chimera on the way. So he's going to try and make some good use of the artillery shot from that. The range on that is pretty long and on a map of this size.
The Chimera is a transport.
Oh, the Chimera? Yeah, wrong one. Okay, sorry.
The Manicore is the artillery. Yep. The Manicore costs 100 power, though, and at this point in the game, Jamus has done plenty good enough a job of preventing a Manicore from possibly coming out.
I'm not entirely sure why I thought that. I'm sorry.
It's quite alright. Imperial Guard are newish. So in the meantime, we are seeing the
Ish.
Shuriken
Oh.
setting up. The old Reliable goes ahead, knocks it back. Now, of course, the issue with old Reliable is the setup counter here. You see it right there. A very nice smoke grenade here is going to allow this Inquisitor to go ahead and tie it up. And that's probably the better setup counter, honestly. But the Wraithguard coming in, he's going to have to get in a melee with them somehow. And actually, this Chimera is pulling right up to these Wraithguards. So if he can get these Catechins to force melee, but very nice grenade there. We saw that grenade doesn't hit anything, but what it does, and we do see the Inquisitor goes down. But what that grenade did with the Guardians there was it prevented the Catechins from moving up into force melee with these Wraithguard. Now, what's kind of surprising here is it took, I think MeteorVsBunny went ahead and forced melee with everything but the Catechins. Here comes the Autocolon right on top of the Catechins. They're down to 3 out of 8 models. They're trying to reinforce from the Chimera.
Get the hell out of here. They're not even close enough to the Chimera.
They are actually close enough to the Chimera somehow. They're getting models out. They're coming right out of the Chimera. They're trying to deal with the Autarch. They're also trying to push towards the power farm. And now the Autarch is backing off. She got an Executioner out really quickly here with the Force Shield coming out also pretty quickly. The Inquisitor's already back in the field. Both players have a decent amount of requisition, although at this point MeteorVsBunny's requisition reserves have been just decimated. They had been looking pretty good up until that battle, but then all that infield reinforce is really taking a toll on him. We are going to see that Sergeant is coming in, so he will have a method of countering, very soft counter to vehicles if he wants it. In the meantime,
and like, I don't know, I feel like Jamus made a bit of a mistake there. He had the Wraithguard out on the field. Meteor was blobbed up pretty hard, and Wraithguard do some AV damage, but if he'd really just forced ground right in the middle of that blob, I feel like it would have done a hell of a lot more damage than basically getting their only range shot off on that Chimera. If you'd see, it's minus a bit of health, but that's about it. And then, the Wraithguard didn't get much else out in that engagement, and without taking out a lot of infantry at the start of that fight with that Wraithguard shot, made it really difficult. He had to use a lot of defensive abilities. He had to throw down that grenade defensively, barely got the Wraithguard away because of the Autarch call down. And, now he's making good use of this Chimera and the Reinforce, because of course with the Sergeants you can reinforce 2 at a time. Makes the Chimera very, very strong.
Ooh, we see about 3 Catechin Devils go down from 1 Wraithguard shot there. And the Inquisitor is having some issues here. She actually is going to be grabbing the Inquisitorial Mandate, which is basically like a little invulnerability bubble. Trade some energy for some invulnerability. We do see that actually some good capturing here by Jamus is allowing him to
there's the good shot.
Points down. And yeah, there we go. Ooh, actually, somehow that Chimera got lucky there and managed to snipe the Warlock on that squad.
Wow.
Temporarily stunning the Wraithguard there. This Chimera's got to be really, 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 really careful here, though. If it takes one more hit. And I think that was actually forced ground fire there, which is looked like it was pretty nice defensive forced ground fire. We continue to see these Catechins just force mailing up, but the Shuriken is covering here. And now this Autarch is jumping in. This is all around bad. This Chimera is now stationary. This is lining up for the shot, It takes a hit, and it goes down. And the Catechins go down too.
Wow.
MeteorVsBunny is down to 2 Guardsman squads, and they're both fighting for their lives with flamers here, but grenades are going everywhere. Another grenade. There goes one of the other Guardsman squads, and actually receiving the victory point. Part of this game here is just kind of MeteorVsBunny is just about done. MeteorVsBunny goes ahead and concedes, and that is the game.
Yeah, I mean, the Autarch and the Wraithguard definitely bringing him the victory there. He made some pretty good usage of his tier 1 there at the end with, keeping those Guardians alive, the Shurikens. The Rangers did a lot in the early game, but those Wraithguard, it looked like he was trying to bait the Wraithguard shots, like with that building blocking their ability to shoot, like sort of pop out long enough so they start their firing animation, then sort of run behind the building real quick so it wouldn't take damage, but he was busy on so many other fronts, he wasn't actually able to dodge the Chimera back behind the building in time and did lose that. And then just a little bit of a luck from Jamus. The shots were enough to get some damage in on the Devils, enough to wipe that squad as well. So, well played by him, just a couple things going in his favor at the end, but he did a really good job of controlling the center of that map the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, basically that was exactly what Jamus was able to do. He was able to maintain map control the entire time. We saw that early kill on that Sentinel was probably really, really big in his favor, really. The second that Sentinel went down, we really saw a significant drop in the amount of map control that Meteor was able to exert. Once that happened, of course, you start losing the resources and everything else, and it just all starts going downhill from there.
Yeah, it's interesting that he went for Seawall if he really wanted to go for that Sentinel harass to keep him strong in the early game, because of the fact that Seawall isn't really that big, just in the way that it's laid out. If you go for something like Greentooth Gorge, that Sentinel can be running around the map for a very long time, decapping things, just because the distance to get your squads over to wherever the Sentinel happens to be to try and get it the hell out of there is quite long. So if you're intelligent with where you run your Sentinel around on a map like Greentooth, then you can keep decapping things almost indefinitely until he catches you out of position, and really helps you out in the early game. And it looked like that's what MeteorVsBunny was really hoping for, is to use that Sentinel to keep the center decapped, basically, because he didn't have enough map control to capture anything in the center, so he was just decapping it all so that Jamus couldn't have it either, and then once it went down, suddenly Jamus just started getting a flood of resources.
Yeah, I mean, he was, when I say he, I mean, I'm talking about MeteorVsBunny, playing really kind of, like, non-committally, trying not to really get in a lot of big battles initially there, and to really, as you mentioned, keep the center decapped, and then, again, the second that that fell apart, Jamus was able to take total and complete control and go ahead and push around all over the place. So meanwhile, I think we are waiting for Edja to finish stuffing his face.
Maybe?
I think that's a bit.
I just got kicked from Steam.
Oh, Steam apparently is being a little annoying here. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and wait for that to fix itself up now.
Wonderful. Yeah, hopefully that resolves itself soon.
I'm assuming you guys have had this happen with Battle.net 2.0. So what do you do when it
Oh,
happens
yeah.
with that?
You basically just have to wait.
All right, so
That's about it. And we've already used a replay, so
yeah. I don't think we can actually. I'm not sure we can. I wonder if we can beat replays.
maybe.
Do we
I
have
assume
any-
you could. Like, yeah, you can load replays right now, but I don't really have other
Yeah, I know.
replays. I mean, we're not prepared for having to go through 2 replays tonight.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't have been necessary. So let's
Yeah,
see.
like-
Waiting games.
The one replay was our backup plan because we should have had enough live content to fill the show, so
more than
we
enough,
had to
yeah.
use that early.
Actually, you know what? I may have something we can do actually. With these Steam servers temporarily down, let me go ahead and talk to my friend Black, who is the senior referee at GameReplays.org, because there's a big special event coming up at Game Replays, and we want to let everyone know about that. So, because we want to keep everyone informed about what's going on in the Dawn of War 2 competitive community as best we can. So, Game Replays has come to us with this big event, and actually extended an offer for iCCup TV to go ahead and help cast that. So apparently the stream is down too, so let me go ahead and check what this is about.
It's on air for me, but it's on the splash screen.
Oh yeah, it shouldn't be. Okay, so when he says down, what does he mean?
I just need to refresh it. It kind of hiccuped for a second. So.
Oh, Steam. Okay, Steam, not stream. Derp, derp, derp,
Oh,
derp,
okay.
derp, derp.
Derp.
Alright, so let me go ahead and check with Black really quickly and see if he's there.
Apparently, I bet last time I was online was 23 hours ago. I'm looking at the group chat we have. That's interesting.
Well, okay, Steam just came back up, so let's actually try and get all this back started again, as opposed to trying to switch gears for the 10,000th time here. Alright, let's get back in here. It says, please wait, trying to start my private game. I have to restart the game. We'll try to not have to. Oh, yeah, maybe not have to do that. Alright.
It might be working now, maybe?
I think it is. I'm going to go ahead and try inviting. So let's see, I'm going to invite you, and let's go ahead and find Tex, Steve, Bud, and Edja, and send invites to everyone.
It always tries to make me choose the Warlock. Every time. Doesn't remember your hero anymore. Like I thought it did in Chaos Rising.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it did in Chaos Rising. It still does for me, actually, but, it's very, like, last hero finicky. Although, when you lose your connection to Steam and you do something,
Mm-hmm.
then it gets super finicky.
I mean, I haven't really played Warlock that much, like maybe once or twice, and it always comes up on hero selection as a Warlock. Maybe it's an Eldar thing. I don't know. Maybe they just want you to see that Warlock has horns now. Don't have to get up to like army level 58 to get that anymore.
Yeah, that is kind of, and it also really makes them stand out from the squad leaders in case you got a lot of those.
Yeah.
So really quick update, and I think what we're gonna go ahead and do today is, I think we're just gonna go ahead and play this one match between Edja and Steve Budd today, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and have 3 matches. So we'll take care of Edja versus Texanius, Texanius versus Clazifor, and Clazifor versus Steve Budd. Or no, not Steve Budd, versus Tex. So we'll take care of all 3 of those tomorrow, because Tex still seems to be busy with that other thing.
Yeah, and we'll get our Tex day tomorrow. Let's see if he'll be more DECA or if he'll be Space Marines again.
Well, he said he would be playing Orcs, so I assume that's what he will be going with. I don't think he was too happy with how well Edja had just kind of smacked him down yesterday. My apologies, Tex, but I can't really phrase that any other way. Let's see what Steve Budd is doing here.
Yeah, we were just about ready to get going, and then we had a little bit of a Steam hiccup, kind of throws a wrench in the gears, so hopefully this won't take too much longer to get started. And, then of course, tomorrow we got a big day. Big day.
Big day of 3 of these, and then we'll definitely have that announcement that I started talking about. We'll definitely have that tomorrow, if we don't have it today for whatever reason.
Are you making an announcement about an announcement? Are you pulling it in control?
Sorry?
Are you making an announcement about an announcement?
Yeah, I'm making an announcement about an announcement. So it does seem like Steve Budd is trying to join. I see him like kind of in chat here, but like constantly like exiting out. Like he was in chat and then like coming out. Like so usually that happens when like you see like it's doing it now.
Yeah, there it is.
Because they'll show up in chat before they actually get in, so you can kind of see like who's attempting to join. And then it seems like it may be kicking him back out, and Steam may be a little finicky right now. Yeah, see, it's booting him out for some reason. That's bad. I almost want to rehost this.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it's going to make any difference.
I don't know. Worst case scenario doesn't fix anything. Best case scenario lets him in.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and remake. And see if we can go ahead and get that working with the remake here. Usually Steamworks it's been working pretty well so far. I haven't really had any issues like this thus far, so this is kind of the first major hiccup I've had with the new system that Relic has put in place in Retribution. For those of you that don't know, Retribution is using a different online system compared to what Chaos Rising used. Chaos Rising used Games for Windows Live, as did the original Dawn of War 2. Retribution is using Steamworks, so basically looks rather similar on the front end, except for that little press home button little thing comes down, and generally the connection seems to be a little bit better with less NAT issues and such. But
still having some issues.
Yeah, Seabud is not able to get in here.
What if he hosts?
Yeah, we could try that. So let's see.
Like, if he's able to host and invite us, then maybe we can get that to work.
Actually, he's gonna restart. Is what he's saying.
Okay. If it still doesn't work, maybe we can try that.
So, let's see here. In the meantime, hopefully we won't have to do 4 matches tomorrow now. That'll be pushing the envelope just a little bit much.
Just a bit.
So I guess in the meantime what I can talk about then is we have finally gotten around to, well, I don't want to say gotten around to, I have been pushing for this for quite a bit. Let me explain the issue, what the issue with the VODs was, or the videos on demand. Basically the recordings of these little casts that we do. The issue was that I'm using this live streaming application called XSplit. It's rather new technically, it's still in beta, and so it's not something that I don't think much of iCCup TV has used yet, but because of how Dawn of War 2 works, and just kind of the current state that it's in, outside of Procaster, for me it works the best by far, especially with my audio setup. It allows me to kind of get everything that I need working and done properly. The only issue with it is it's actually a really nice program, in fact, but it's so nice though that it tries to do like everything for you. And as mentioned, it's still in beta. So like as far as Ustream goes, usually you boot up like Ustream, and through the web you have
you can still use the broadcaster to save VODs when you're using XSplit.
Really? I tried doing that. It wasn't happy about it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean I can try doing it some more. But
launch the broadcaster first, and then start XSplit and start broadcasting on that, and it'll say, do you want to switch to the other stream? And then it'll be working, and you can save VODs.
I had been doing that, but it wasn't allowing me to record VODs. Like I'd press the record option, and it would finish, eventually when I finished with the broadcast and I finished, recording and stuff, and it just would not like save, and it was almost like there was nothing that it had done at all on the recording front. I mean, it would still broadcast fine, but it wouldn't actually deal with the recordings correctly. But long story short, I don't know if it's untested or whatever, but I'm still a little new at working with this style of broadcasting. So previously, Procaster is pretty easy to use for those of you familiar with it over at live streams. So I had just kind of been using that to do some self-casting stuff for a while. So I made a much more of an effort to kind of get this much higher quality stream and stuff going, and
I think we're solving Steam issues because Ed can't get in.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at his player profile,
and he's off. Yeah,
it shows him as 1 win and 0 losses with every army.
Really? Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short on the VODs though, so we were having issues with that, and so we were trying to get it working so that we'd actually have the VODs on Ustream, and then, that didn't work. So finally, I think last night I got the stuff that I needed to go ahead and get all the VODs up on the iCCup TV YouTube. So if you go and look up iCCup TV on YouTube, you go ahead and find our YouTube channel, and right now we've got all 6 of the iCCup TV Dawn of War 2 dailies up there for your viewing pleasure. Now, the second issue comes in. I tried editing these, and second issue is the compression codec that XSplit uses is not quite non-standard, but I need to go ahead and get some proper... It
uses its own codec, like it's not available in other sources, so...
Yeah, so I'm trying to find editing software for that so that I can trim these up and get them all nice and compact for you guys, but at the moment, I've got the raw videos up, so you've got some extras in there. Some little sound check, sound check, which I know you guys will all love. But you guys go ahead and just skip those parts, whatever you want to do. They're all available in 720p and below. So go head over to YouTube. If you ever miss a cast, go over there. Our iCCup TV YouTube. There's plenty of other great stuff there too. If you're into StarCraft 2, there's plenty of stuff there. Interviews, casts, whatever, right, Raelcun?
Yeah. We don't have a whole lot up on the YouTube at the moment from StarCraft 2, but we're working on it. We're working on it.
Some Brood War stuff maybe too?
Not really.
Okay, there's at least StarCraft 2 and Dawn of War 2. There's about like 200 something videos on there, so I'm sure you'll find something you like. Also, if you didn't catch our pre-release beta event, that's also up there. And
it was a decent amount of fun.
Yeah, it was quite a lot of fun actually. one of the things we had been trying to do is we're trying to feature different players in all of our events that we're doing with the dailies and like the pre-release beta event stuff. So like Keltos is one of those players you'd expect to see like in like a lot of stuff that we do, but you know, we're like, okay, we give him a lot of love in the pre-release beta event, and that was our primary love for Keltos. We'll get him back on here soon enough. Don't worry, Keltos, we love you. But you know, we were trying to spread some stuff around. Unfortunately, like I said, some things, you know, we just have to get whoever's available, and sometimes it will be the same people are available because they just flat out are really awesome people available all the time. So we have Edja back in here. Let's try and get Steve Budd in here. This, I think, will be our last attempt to get in here.
Did he try hosting?
That's going to be the... Well, okay, that's probably the next thing. We'll have him host. He's not sure why he can't join, but he has restarted, so I've given him another invite.
Well, apparently it took Ed a lot of tries to even get in here, so... Let's see if he actually has statistics at the moment. Nope, he's still 1 win and 0 losses on every army, with a current skill rating of 930. Well-rounded, but I'm pretty sure that's not correct. So...
Alright, so Steve is trying to go ahead and join up one more time here. I'm going to send another invite just to make sure he's got it. Fortunately, I don't totally like that new invite system. It looks a lot cooler, but it doesn't leave like the invite there, you know what I mean? How like you used to have like the invite in the chat, and that used to be kind of awesome and stuff, but it doesn't do that anymore, so you have to keep going like invite, 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 invite.
Invite.
Because otherwise it just disappears. So, alright, we're going to go ahead and just let's see Bud host.
Oh yeah. Okay, so hopefully this will work. We don't have to delay this too, because that would be a bit annoying.
Yeah, it'd be a real crunch tomorrow to go ahead and try and get all these games in. Maybe doable, but... we are doing the best we can to see if we can get all of the, you know, at least one of these in here today. Because we also have to get, again, that announcement out at some point. We can get it out Friday too, so... connection timeout, this is... so I'm going to try exiting out, coming back in, so everyone bear with me. We're going to go to the little splash screen here for a second. Not the offline splash screen, just the I'm not showing you my screen splash screen. So
don't want to show us your desktop, Mr. 5-star General?
Oh, it's perfectly fine, but it's only like part of it, and it looks weird, and the StarCraft background is not showing right now on here, and you can't see the Dawn of War 2 background on my other screen. So we have questions about what game is this? It is Dawn of War 2 Retribution, and this is the first network problems I'm having with it, so not sure what's up with this.
I've had like individual issues where a player gets kicked from Steam, and that can cause some time, but I've never seen like the whole thing melt down like this before.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it happens with any system where it'll randomly just take a dump and not work for a while, but you know, it hasn't happened really at all with Steam so far, so
yeah, it has been pretty reliable thus far. So not quite sure what's up here. I just have to reposition the window really quickly, and I'll take that invite. There we go. Alright. Let's go ahead and take the invites. And swap back to the view so you guys can go ahead and see the lovely Inquisitor at Jurastia again. And we'll try to resolve that quickly. Here we go. I managed to join.
I don't have an invite yet.
I will send your invite.
Not popular enough.
Actually, I haven't even gotten Edja an invite yet, so here we go, inviting Edja and inviting Raelcun. And apparently Seabud here has gone for Greentooth Gorge. Remember guys, the map pool here is... Alright, so Edja and Seabud are in here. Raelcun, get in here, hop on down!
It's connecting! It's connecting! I swear!
If it doesn't connect, you're just gonna have to restart, yeah, restart the game. Back out, come back in, and that's what worked for me.
It worked fine before. Now I'm broke. I blame you.
I almost feel like I didn't see a download go down, but it almost seems like there was some kind of patch that like you have to restart your game for. I'm not sure what, but it's kind of weird.
Okay, I'm loading back in. As you hear me spamming escape to skip the 5 million logos at the start of the game. Okay, invite please.
Alrighty. You know, you can actually, actually I'm not sure I should say that. Forget I said anything. Well, actually, no, it's an article on PC Gamer, so I think I'm allowed to. I could be wrong. But anyway, the is it still not working?
It's connecting.
Come on.
It's connecting. Connection to the host timed out.
Damn it. Alrighty then.
Invite again! Oh, this is fun.
Try reconnecting to Steam.
Okay.
I know, really fun stuff, eh?
How do I do that again?
Just like exit out of Steam and then restart Steam, just totally from the bottom up.
But I have to close down War 2 to do that.
Yep. Ooh, we're actually gonna have a game on Calderis, by the way, because we had
oh, really?
yeah, we had Steve Bud veto Seawall, and then we had Edja veto Greentooth Gorge. So
holy check!
Players actually vetoing those maps. Somewhat surprised. So, oh, actually, gotta make sure that Steve Bud has a slot open for Raelcun, so that he can actually get in here.
That could be one of the reasons why I wasn't able to join.
Well, no, I think it was open until he switched maps, because then it tries to consolidate the spaces. Because, you know, the map switching is all set up for
platform files. The hell?
Ooh, so there was a Steam update that
I knew it. Steam update.
It felt like something had to have changed, and the service didn't just crap out. Because all of a sudden, the second I restarted, it was like, just, you know, working now. And I haven't restarted Steam yet, and I don't think I'm getting out of this game at this point.
No, don't leave the game.
Yeah, I
You're in. Stay there.
Yeah.
I'm loading again. I updated my Steam platform files, whatever the hell that means.
I think it's just a general way of saying all of your Steam stuff that's not related to a game, but could be wrong.
There we go. I'm in. Invite, please.
Alrighty. Inviting Raelcun.
Hello.
And
What
it's saying
can
you
you
were
do?
there. Come on, you can. Yes! Victory! Alright. That is the only way to celebrate in the Warhammer universe. Yeah, you guys are bashing Battle.net 2.0 or 0.2, whatever, but I don't know. This is a Steam platform update apparently, so whatever. That seems to be a significant event, personally. But anyway, so I believe that we are all ready to go. And let me just double check that Edja actually has a stream closed at this point, because I know he was listening in for a bit. Whatever, they're going to start. So I'm going to assume that Edja has a stream closed then. Yeah. But anyway, so okay, good. Apparently, auto just made us quieter while we were all screaming, so we didn't blow any eardrums. That's awesome.
Yeah. There was a little bit of a you got quieter for a second, and then of course it realized that we're not screaming anymore. But yeah.
So we are going to be loading in here on Calderis Refinery. Yay, something other than Greentooth Gorge and Seawall Frontier and Outer Reaches. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, Outer Reaches is mostly just I'm playing an Eldar player, I'm going to piss them off by picking this map. It's most of the times that we've seen Outer Reaches picked by the players, but it's going to be Ravener Alpha for Ed, and, Warp Spider X-Star, big surprise for Steve Budd. So we're going to have two very mobile armies. Of course, we've seen a lot of really good usage out of the Ravener Alpha yesterday.
Yeah.
And we'll see if Ed can follow it up, because, it just really grants you so much mobility. And Calderis is a map that's way bigger than it looks. I mean, you look at it and you're like, oh, that's not too big.
Yeah.
But it's actually significantly bigger than the first glance tells you.
So, meanwhile, we had a question in the chat. Just going to answer that really quickly. This is Dawn of War 2 Retribution, Warhammer 40,000. And I am 5-star General.
And this is Raelcun.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, it's been quite a bit now. I'm trying to get this working with Steam going down a little bit here. So meantime, we've got the Warp Spider X-Star harassing in the middle. Now going ahead decapping the victory point. We saw a little bit of an interesting early cap order from Edge in terms that he actually went for the far requisition node rather than the near requisition node with his Ravener Alpha, but that tunnel allowed him to do that, and he's got Spore Mines out now, which again is a little bit of an interesting choice here. I don't think we saw that from him last time. Yesterday, but I don't think he really needed them either. But we saw it from Clazophor. I don't believe we saw it from Edge.
Yeah, I don't know. Getting my nids confused. So, I mean, looking at Steve, he basically went directly for his power, then the victory points, and he's like, oh yeah, I probably need that requisition too. So, we're probably going to be seeing some really quick Rangers or something out of him, something that he really wants that power income super early for. But, I mean, his generators are already under fire.
Yeah, and we do see actually...
not very good at bashing, but they'll get there eventually.
Yeah, we are seeing these Spore Mines positioned so that if these Banshees retreat in the wrong direction, in fact, just because they're a little slow on the retreat, they had a little bit of an issue, kind of maybe bug or something. Just taking a little bit to get going there. Spore Mines do manage to get one thing off of them, but no model loss because of it. Now the Guardians actually be forced back from the Spore Mines, and we see basically the Warp Spider's trying to hold out here, but Edge is doing an amazing job of holding this right side of the map and really pushing these generators, which in the meantime, by the way, secures this power node completely. And the interesting thing is that he doesn't really even have anything over here, but he hasn't had to deal with anything because he's been able to push this power so well. And he's continuing to push it well at this point. Oh, the Warp Spider's down to 5 health from that Spore Mine. The Spore Mines are down now, though. We're seeing a Shuriken come out from Steve Budd. And he is really under fire early here. We have a Warrior Brood coming out from Edja. This is another big tier 1 from him. We saw a big tier 1 from him yesterday that just rolled all over Texanius, who was playing as Space Marines. I do have to say that because it does make a bit of a difference. In the meantime, we are seeing Steve Budd is going to try and save his power farm here. But again, just a rather interesting push here. We see like tunnels are in very kind of places here where Seabud will be able to get at them, but at the same time they're allowing. Here we go. This warrior already is out here because of this tunnel positioning. Again, very aggressive tunnels, but
nice toxic shot.
But yes, very nice crippling poison. These Banshees are not able to get in here or do anything. Basically, this is Edge is just managing to cap this section here by the power node, and he's just able to control the power income of Steve Budd at this point in the game here. Now he's not able to do anything about the Shuriken yet. We are seeing the Warriors moving around for a flank.
Yeah, I mean, he got the Shuri out, and the Warriors already do have their health synapse, but he might be able to get around this platform, and if he can, you got to be really careful about that.
And the platform's walking right towards the Warriors.
Oh, he does not want to get knocked back by those Warriors. There goes one leap. Then they're going to dodge around behind this terrain before they can get set up on. And, if you look at it, Steve's pretty happy to sit here with his army because he's denying power to his opponent. He knows that his opponent is dedicating almost his entire army. Ed is happy to sit here.
And he's pulling out
entire armies here trying to break this, so he doesn't have to worry about any back capping going on. He sees all the squads on the field right here. So he's perfectly fine to sit here while his resources really stack up. Going for a Ravener Brood as well. And while normally you'd be going, he's spending a lot of power in Tier 1, nothing really out of ordinary for Tyrannid. player, he's got all the resources on the map except for one of the requisition points. So it's not even really going to be that big of a deal that he's spending a lot of resources right now.
Oh, and I like this, by the way. That tunnel here, we saw that basically Ed had allowed that forward tunnel to be destroyed. He backed up his Ravener Alpha and then basically just built another tunnel on the right side here. Again, further cementing this control, just pulling out this whole army, now completely refreshed and ready to go, except for maybe one Termagon didn't quite finish there. But otherwise, whole army basically ready, good to go. We got Raveners coming up on this Shuriken. The Shuriken's going to get gangbanged by Raveners and Warriors. And we do have Banshees coming in, but oh my, this Shuriken's in major trouble. If he's going to get a crippling poison out, no, it's going to be able to retreat in time. But at the same time, these Banshees are also going to have to retreat. Everything is getting out of here for Steve Budd. His Warp Spider is forcing off this Ravener Alpha a little bit from the main point, so he is trying to stop his victory point bleed, and that is the one solace here so far for Steve Budd. He has not allowed Edja to get too far ahead in terms of victory points. But oh no, these Guardians now are beset by Raveners and Warriors. They're going to lose one model. Are they going to lose any other models?
Oh
no. No, they're only going to lose one model.
Warp Spider Exarch was trying to go over to grab some power because he's so short on it, down to the bottom left. And then Ed just upgraded the node just to deny it. Getting the node is not actually a very big boost in power. It's only like +4 or something.
Yeah,
but right now, his opponent's so low on the power, just doing that so he can't cap that point is going to be a pretty big deal. So nice job there by Ed.
Yeah, definitely. Using the fortification defensively is always nice to see. Ooh, we're actually seeing burrow traps coming from Ed here.
Oh.
And basically what burrow traps do, for those of you not familiar with them, they're basically mines, is probably the best way to put it. Now we do have a double shuriken set up here, so when the Raveners pop out here on this one shuriken, they're going to go ahead and be suppressed by the second one. Actually, they're not quite suppressed yet. Interesting. Oh, the shuriken cannon is not firing the right thing. He's not targeting. Okay, now he finally is targeting the shuriken cannon correctly, but this may be a little close. One Ravener goes down, but they're not both going to go down. They do get to the shuriken cannon. The shuriken cannon is probably going to take a loss or two before it gets out of there. No, actually it gets out, but all four members alive. And we see the Banshees actually took some losses elsewhere on the map. And again, the generators here of Steve Budd are getting bashed. Edge is going tier 2.
There goes another burrow trap right here. You know, without the Rangers, which is interesting from Steve Budd, a lot of the Eldar players do really like Rangers versus Nids for that the high-powered shot to be able to knock back a squad. You can see that he's not going for that. He's got the double Shuri platform, which you don't see as often, and he's not going to have the protection available to see those burrow traps. So if the wrong squad walks over to that, it could be the Shuri
might be
platform.
close. Shuriken, turns around, and the one Shuriken goes down. Only the one model is stunned. Luckily, the platform itself is not stunned, though. So again, what these little burrow traps do, they're mines basically that go off. They do damage and they temporarily stun. So we see the Warp Spider Exarch down here at the center victory point just got hit by one, and he's still recovering from the stun effects. So as far as Rangers go, one of the reasons why we usually see Rangers is we actually do see a lot of Lictor Alpha versus Tyranid matchups as well, and of course Rangers are absolutely required in that. Against Ravener Alpha, they're certainly recommended because Ravener Alpha has the burrow traps, and he also has the ability to burrow if he gets that war gear as well. Remember, all these are war gear type for him rather than just inherent abilities. But we're seeing this Warp Spider Exarch in huge trouble. Does manage to teleport out though. But anyway, though, so the double shuriken here is kind of allowing him to provide just enough suppression to kind of deal with the stuff. And the Ranger doesn't have a lot of upfront power here.
There goes the... what was that?
I went ahead and did not... okay, so the upgrade you're talking about, the Adrenal Glands upgrade for the Warrior Brood, providing melee synapse. In the meantime, we see the Guardians in trouble here, walking right through the Raveners. By the way, these Raveners have not been upgraded with Devour, which is, I want to say, just slightly unusual. We usually see them with Devour, which is their ranged upgrade. Gives them a very high damage per second ranged capability.
The reason why we see that a lot is because they really don't lose any of their melee capabilities at the same time. They're still able to pop up onto a squad.
Yeah, they actually gain melee capabilities. And we see the Shuriken gets popped up. Oh, the Hormigon flank there is going to force both Shurikens off. They don't lose anything, but again here, Seabud in a really bad position. Losing map control. He's trying to use his Warp Spider Exarch to go around. Ninja Cap his victory points to stay in the game. But again, we're seeing these burrow traps being left here to try and deal with the Warp Spider Exarch whenever they possibly can.
Yeah, and it's a good job by the Warp Spider Exarch trying to buy as much time as possible. We see really heavy tier 1 from Edja, but that's pretty common for Nid players. A lot of Nids have the feeling that they just need to spend a lot in tier 1 to not immediately lose. So go for a really strong tier 1 game to try and carry them into a decent position into tier 2. And he's doing a really good job of it, but since SteveBud is trying to keep his victory points from draining too much by just ninja capping all over the place, once he gets up to tier 2, which is going to be pretty shortly, let's see what he can make happen. We haven't been seeing a lot of blobbing from Ed, so he is going to have to be careful soon with the possibility of an Autark call down, especially if he gets suppressed by the shurikens first.
Yeah.
Could lose a lot of models if there's a suppression into an Autark. There's the Autark, but it completely misses.
Yeah, the whole point of Autark at this point, though, is just to have it, so just the ability to get that unit out there without having to spend any power is huge for SteveBud right now. Or, well, not any power, but minimal amount of power, I should say. So he manages to get her out, but Edge is going tier 3, and he's got a lot of resources. We're going to see a Swarmlord to finish this off, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, he's floating a lot of requisition. He's taking this power. He should be able to get enough power for that by the time the requisition is in place. That's one of the things with the super units is they take so long to build. By the time it's done, you can get another tier 3 unit out of the field. So you could see a Ravener call down right behind the lines here, trying to catch anything that might be retreating. But he actually didn't retreat anything yet, so, it was a nice idea as he was charging in, was going to try and give a squad. But we've got a little bit of possibly base rape incoming, because Swarmlord is going to be a factor, and I don't know if, he's going to be able to cap enough victory points to live long enough for the Swarmlord to even get out on the field.
Yeah, but you see he's got Guardians down by the middle victory point, and he's got his Warp Spider Exarch down by the bottom victory point. His Warp Spider Exarch does have improved targeters, but not much else. He doesn't have much health here. He's got to get out of there. He does get out of there. The Ravener Alpha is able to force him off. And the Warp Spider Exarch goes right onto the burrow trap and just falls dead.
Oh my god!
Proving very valuable here. Edge is making great use of it. Again, it's something you don't necessarily see a lot from Ravener Alpha players even. Just because there are quite a few other things that are quite useful and more useful to spend money on, or resources I should say. But at this juncture in the game, when you've got this kind of advantage, you're looking to hold map control against a hero like the Warp Spider Exarch, it is the perfect thing, as we saw there. And this Autark is going to go in here and try and do some damage, but these dual Termagants just using Crippling Poison to back her off. And again, I mean, I think we've seen quite a few times, by this point, that the Crippling Poison, nerf that came in beta, right, completely justified to remove the plus 20% bonus damage. Tyranid players
still very powerful.
Yeah, Tyranid players proving that just the snare alone is all they really need to actually do more damage. Because just catching stuff out in the open is plenty good enough. These Raveners are taking a little bit more damage than they possibly wanted to take here, because the Shuriken was resetting up here.
Banshees are in a lot of trouble!
So is the Shuriken and the Banshees are getting up, and the other Shuriken's in trouble. Both Shuriken's in trouble. We are seeing that SteveBud really is trying to keep his forces on the field for quite a while here, because he can't afford to see the field constantly, but down to 50 victory points at this point in the game, and almost no resources, and very little way of obtaining resources. He just is not in a position really to pull this one out. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult for him at this point. He can't even upgrade anything on his Autark, which would help a lot, because he just used all of his power just to get her on the field. It looks like just finally going for the throat, taking this requisition point, the only other source of income. Oh, he's not able to
manages to force it off.
Oh, I mean, that's like been the only resource that SteveBud's been able to hold consistently throughout the game, but we have just passed the point of no return unless you can get this decapped.
4, 2,
yeah, no way.
And that is game. So we see Edja taking 2 games fairly easily here in this mini tournament. Just kind of no problem at all. First against Texanius' Force Commander, and now against SteveBud's... Oh, crap, I didn't get... Well, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and save that from the temp replays.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go ahead and pick that up. Technically, we would have time for another game, but I haven't been able to get in contact with Tex. I'm assuming that he is getting pretty far along in his tournament.
Yeah, so it seems like Tex, when he is playing Orc, is a very, very good player. We've seen him experimenting with some other stuff, having some issues, but when he's, taking it seriously, he's bringing out Damor Daka. He's very scary, so not surprising to see. But he's doing well in that tournament. I don't know, the double Shuri is pretty tough to pull off, as you can see, versus a mid player. If they do a good job, especially, they really need to do is get another Ravener Brood out, and they can jump on top of both of your Shuri platforms. Makes it pretty difficult. It's one of the reasons why Rangers are a little bit favored for the high-powered impulse. Just knock back a squad, try and protect yourself a little bit longer.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest issue there was you kind of go back and you look at it, and we can't really fault the double shurikens in this, because the double shuriken, I mean, any build order that came out past the first shuriken really was such that it came out after Edge had already gotten its foothold. Everything from that point on, I mean, probably even before any of the tier 1.5 units hit. By the way, tier 1.5 are any units in tier 1 that cost power. It's not an actual tier, it's just kind of an informal saying among Dawn of War 2 players. It helps us distinguish between things like, for example, Guardians and Howling Banshees, which cost 300 requisition and 400 requisition respectively, but no power, versus like Shuriken platforms, which cost about
30.
240 requisition and 30 power. So it kind of allows us to differentiate between those two things, because even though they're in the same tier, they're kind of like different classifications of units, because you can't get tier 1.5 units immediately out of the gate. It takes conservatively it probably takes about 3 minutes to get them out, even though obviously it takes less than that. But if you're the default power income rate, if you don't get any power nodes, you'll get one out within 3 minutes.
Yeah. And that really tells you a lot of what players are thinking of going for, just for how quickly they go for the power nodes, because you'll see some players go straight for the requisition. They're really going to go for reinforcing a lot in the early game. They're going to make squads that they're going to have to replace, maybe make some more Banshees, more Guardians, and then other players, they go straight for that power node. They get 3 generators on it immediately, and you're like, oh, okay, they're going to be going for some tier 1.5 into probably a quick tier 2. And you just a really easy way of telling what a player is thinking of just by looking at which points they go after first, just because of that.
Yeah, and you'll see us a lot of times here on our commentaries. We'll go and say, oh, this player is capturing this first or capturing this first, and the reason why we're so interested in that is because it tells you what resource they're most interested in. Sometimes we'll see its victory points. Actually, we've seen a lot of times from Warp Spider Exarchs its victory points, because for those of them that are not phase shifting this and that, they want to end the game kind of as quickly as they can and just kind of bleed their opponent down in victory points and use map control to bring about a much quicker end to the game than they otherwise would be able to, so that when the big forces in the later games start kind of trading blows, they don't necessarily need a big force. They just need to have been mobile the rest of the game, and they can turn it into a game where those 3 victory points now become so separated, and now all of a sudden it becomes a game of capping and holding as opposed to a game of large armies clashing. And it can be a game of both things, by the way. So despite the PC Gamer review of Dawn of War 2 Retribution, which apparently it completely failed to watch our pre-release Retribution beta broadcast, or Harlequin's same broadcast, or not same, it's same idea, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, though, so I was saying about the dual Shuriken versus Ranger thing. I don't really know if anything would have helped here. I think Edge had a really great strategy from the beginning, which was that if you saw his tunnel placement, he wanted to divide the map in 2. I think one of his first tunnels, not his first, but one of his first, was actually to the middle. And if you looked at the cover in the middle, it was such that the tunnel was created so that there's in the middle of Calderas Refinery, there is cover, these little cement. Yeah, there's these cement blocks in the middle, though, specifically, and these cement blocks are around, in kind of like a box around the victory point. And so on the right ones of those, and on the right side of those, you went ahead and made a tunnel. which is a really aggressive tunnel, because anything in the middle, right, is something that eventually Steve Bud's going to detect and he's going to destroy. And part of part of how we got the red, the global resource for the auto arc, was from destroying those tunnels, but also he was losing so many units that at some point he was going to get enough red anyway. But generally, as a Ravner Alpha, you don't want to give out free red, which is what allowing your tunnels to be destroyed does. Besides from also having your tunnels destroyed, which is not fun, because it's just a little bit less mobility on your part. But anyway, so you put a tunnel there, and it was just kind of like he had good access to that middle victory points to be able to pressure the middle. Then he had tunnels on the right side of that tunnel and towards the upper part of the power farm. Actually, I got to move my mouse on the map up here, which in this general area and kind of this area. So basically everything from this side and over, which is again the side of Steve Bud's natural power farm, is basically like where all of Edge's tunnels were, and he just pushed that side mercilessly. And eventually, once he was able to continue pushing that side, he forced Steve Bud for probably about a good 3 to 5 minutes to focus every single force that he had in that area, and then he just had this Hormigón squad going around capping the left side.
I'm wondering about actually sitting back and thinking about it. He committed so much over to that portion of the map. He really wanted Steve Bud to fight him there, and Steve Bud was going for it. If Steve had just really sort of backed off, given up that power node, tried to grab another one temporarily, get some of the resource points on the field, just get a foothold economically in other places, since, Ezra was so committed over there, he might have been able to do a little bit better, but he spent so long just brawling it out with Ezra right next to his tunnel, and as you can see, Ezra was able to just reinforce immediately. Anything that was in trouble jumped in the tunnel, healed up, then jumped back in, and was back on the field immediately. So it reminds me a little bit of when you're just sort of screwing around and you're watching new Space Marine players, and they seem to think that dropping 6 turrets on a location is a really good idea.
Yeah.
And a lot of people make the mistake of fighting them near those turrets. I think maybe he should have just said, okay, you got that tunnel there, I'm just going to ignore it for a little bit, gone off in other portions of the map. That might have worked a little bit better.
Yeah, I think basically it came to a stage in the game, but unfortunately it's really tough to recognize at times when you can, push out of that and when you can't.
Yeah.
But, it definitely seemed like that right side, there was definitely some capability there for Steve Bud to go ahead and bring the battle down there. Again, part of it's somewhat unusual for Ravner Alpha to not have a tunnel somewhere near there. But the closest tunnel was to the right side of just outside of Edge's spawn. So he would have been able to push that Edge's power farm pretty well rather early on. And in pushing that power farm, he would have been able to he may have been able to trade power farms, which actually, given how heavy Tyranids like to go on their tier 1, as much as we saw double shurikens, and maybe even it might have been double shuriken ranger may have actually been his intended build order, but never got to do that because of the power farm issue. All that you can still kind of skimp by with just plus 15 power income, for example. So if you had been able to trade farms, it would have been interesting. But also, again, Edge opened, but had a very nice opening composition. He had the Ravner Alpha, the Hormigaunt, the dual Termagants, and the Spore Mines.
The Banshees, which didn't get to do a whole lot because of just some really nice toxic shot usage.
Yeah.
You just sort of sneak those out somewhere else in the map because they weren't getting a whole lot done. Start decapping things or go after the power node, like we're saying. Even if he doesn't completely give up that portion, just send some of the squads that weren't accomplishing much off onto ninja capping missions.
Yeah, definitely agreed.
He just was too completely focused on, I need this power farm for too long.
Yeah, I do want to compliment the inclusion of that Spore Mine at the beginning of that push. It didn't look like it did a ton, but what it does is it's 100 requisition and 5 power, and it really, really strengthens the Tyranids' starting force composition. Yeah. Because it requires a lot of focus fire to take those things down. You'd think that they're giant things ready to go kaboom, right? Should only take a little nudge from a shuriken or something, a guardian or whatever, and it just goes kaboom. But not so. It actually takes quite a bit to take them down, and so it either allows your Hormigauts to get in melee while they're trying to deal with the Spore Mines, or allows your Termagants to fire without taking damage, and or it's something where you kind of have produce this mentality in your opponent where they don't want to be, even though the Spore Mines aren't the retreat killers they used to be, it's still a matter of they still do full damage on retreat. So they still do 45 damage per pop, and they can kind of keep up to get like at least 2 pops off usually on a retreating squad if they're positioned well enough. So like if you were gonna go like send those banshees out, right, to go ahead and try and do some bashing, you've got to be aware of those spore mines being in your retreat path at some point, and have some kind of either plan to deal with it or make sure you retreat early enough that you're not going to lose either too much or anything to it. But
yeah, and the Warp Spider Exarch is actually pretty good at popping spore mines, like you're saying. But the issue is that the Warp Spider Exarch is good at popping every other early game unit in the Tyranid army. So if he's focusing on those spore mines instead of your gaunts, that's kind of a victory for you at that point because you're not losing models elsewhere.
Yeah,
so, I mean, even if that's what it came down to, it still would have been pretty worth it for him to have the Warp Spider Exarch focusing on those instead of his army.
Yeah, it's 100 requisition and 5 power meat shield at worst. At best, it's 100 requisition and 5 power grenade that can squad wipe early on. So definitely, they're very nice to have around. They're situational to a degree, but again, when you see good use of them, and in this game, it was a great compliment to Edge's starting build. He had, again, we saw he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He wanted to split the map. He wanted to go ahead and do that. And he wanted to focus on the gen farm. And the spore mines were part of what allowed him to do that, even though you didn't see a ton of that in this game as far as like making it blatantly apparent that he would, that's what he was going for. Certainly, they were an integral component. So I think that's most of what I have to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you have any other comments about what we've seen today, I think we're gonna go ahead and about 24 minutes past our usual end time, but because of the Steam issues and unfortunately another event cropped up today that some of our participants had also wanted to partake in. We're a little behind in a couple of areas. So went a little overboard today. Tomorrow we will have 3 matches from the tournament, and we will have a big announcement from Game Replay. So I'm going to go ahead and announce the announcement that there's going to be a big announcement. So all of you competitive players or anyone who likes watching competitive play is going to want to listen in for that, get the full details on what's coming down the pipe there. I haven't, we don't have confirmed involvement from iCCup TV yet, but I know certainly we've said, I believe, quote, that, we'll, tell us when and we will do our best to help. So, cast, that is. So anyway, we'll let you guys in on that little secret tomorrow and get you guys up to speed. And again, the one of the games was supposed to be today, Tex versus Steve Budd, I believe it was, will be tomorrow instead of today for the round robin mini tournament. And then we've got the 2 usual matches for the round robin mini tournament tomorrow, and Friday are the finals, best of 3 for that round robin mini tournament. And so we will see you tomorrow, and we will see you Friday as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is 5-Star General.
And this is Raelcun.
And we are signing off for the Dawn of War 2 Daily number 7.